Today is Easter, April the 20th, 2014, and I now have the green light to reveal this to you. Me revealing a lot of secrets. E equals MC squared. It is my cincture. It is my cincture. It is my cincture. We have multitude of levels of evolution pertaining to E equals MC squared. And as we add more variables to it, it makes it very, very specific. It is my cincture. It is my cincture. My cincture, and it's strictly pertaining to me. The true Albert Einstein that died in 1955 would know this information that man has never seen, and only I know. It links into so many things that I've been involved in.
In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God.
Let's get started, because we have an historical moment. It's going to blow your mind. It's going to blow your mind. It's going to blow your mind. And for all those that have made conjectures and show how foolish you really are, you're preaching about something as a fact, and yet it is not. Well, let this be a lesson to you. Let me show you and bear true witness to you, so you can see it with your very own eyes. We've heard that saying, never judge a book by its cover. And by now, a lot of people that know me would never think in a million years I was Albert Einstein, died in 1955, born 3/14, that is pi. Everett Pierce, born on the 341st day of the year. On a leap year is 342nd. That's when the Japanese came over and bombed Hawaii. I'm opening the Pandora's box of great things. But how I'm going to explain it consistent with my current lifetime now. As long as you have evolution, reincarnation has to happen. So to say evolution and no reincarnation, it's equivalent to saying to have a sun and no light. You will always have reincarnation. These are the tools used by the evolutional energy. I waited for a very long time to bring this forth to you. E equals MC squared by Everett Pierce. E is the 5th letter, and of course M is the 13th letter of the alphabet, and of course C is the 3rd, and we already got a number here, so let's convert that to a B. So in terms of numbers and letters, we all know in terms of English and your sentences, where if you have a noun, you would have an adjective describing the noun. And if you're talking about a verb, you want to be more descriptive about a verb, you would have an adverb. So like what we have here, Everett, and then Mary's child. Mary's child would be an adjective to the noun, Everett. So if we took this out, we're still talking about Everett. So that's one of the elements in terms of my equation. The first letter of my statement here. E is bring down our equal sign and bring down the M Let's bring down the C. And in this lifetime, with my mom's name, Mary, and I was the second born. I am the second born. So we have noun and adjective. And you say, well, Everett, and you bring down the initials and say E equals MC². The old saying is, if it walks like a chicken, it sounds like a chicken, it lays eggs like a chicken, chances are it's a chicken. E was representing of energy. And of course, equals mass constant. Means energy, once it's initiated in motion, is in constant action of doing something. Energy equals mass constant squared. Now that we have identified this little interesting little fact, let's take this a little bit further. Okay, so I'm going to write my name. Everett. E-V-E-R-E. And then we'll say 2 capital T's, right? Right. Doesn't that look like the symbol for pi? Okay, so now let's go to my last name. P-I. Because we actually use capital P, capital I, and we go equals 3, 1, 4. So it's even inscripted into my name. And of course we go E-R-C-E. Pierce. And when you look in the middle, this is a symbol for pi. And this is also used in terms of pi as well. Einstein, born March 3. And on what day? The 14th. Everett, born in terms of a solar year, I'm born 341st day of the year. It's not in exact order. It should be 3.14, right? In terms of order. But see, the thing is, it has all the numbers involved in pi. The first 3 numbers in pi. Okay, so if this is a linear way, let's look at the numbers and a yin-yang. That means if we start here, then we go over here, and then so on. Yin-yang, day, night, male, female. Okay, so we start this side. I'm left-handed, so let's start on the left. 3, now let's go to the right. 1, and then the only number left is 4. 3, 1, 4. I'm a second generation master. Means I teach myself under the guidance of the source energy. It's starting to look like a chicken. Objective means you see that item more than what it initially is designed to be. Okay, Mike, he's a human being. But what else can Mike be? He can be a professional basketball player. He can be a brother. He can be a businessman. He can be a friend. He can be a son. What is his race? He can be a father. Now, as far as details, okay, because there could be a lot of Mikes out there who could be a professional basketball player. He could be a son. He could be a friend. He could be a brother. He can be a businessman. Now, when we get down to the details of things, then we go into eye color. That's a variable. And then his weight, his height, his fingerprints, his DNA. And you say, well, he's a male. Well, you only have 2 choices, either male or female. Now, just because he's in the male body, what is his spirit? Because people have a hard time see themselves separate from their flesh. And as we know with gay people, is in terms of combination of people, you got male and female. And now let's look at all the combinations of male and female that energy could put into effect, and it does. Well, there's male and female, and then you got male, and then female. This is all derived from creativity and objective. And this is essential in terms of looking at E equals MC². being objective, means Mike is more than just a professional basketball player. He's a brother, he's a businessman, he's a father. So Mike can do many things. And as we all know, with Michael Jordan is to professional basketball, I am to mathematics and energy, equations, problem solving, being objective, being creative, meaning every variable here, what you know is Michael Jordan. E equals MC². Now, what we're going to pull out of here is my cincture. After that, we're going to move into my mother, who's named Mary. We're going to pull out her date of birth. And then we're going to pull out each and every of one of my siblings. My brother, I have one brother and 3 sisters. How even their birthdays are inscripted in this. All you knew in regards was energy equals mass constant. Now, if you are using your creativity, being objective, and say, hey, this got to be more than something, Einstein's pretty smart. So this has to be something other than what is being taught to us. E, well, that's energy, right? Because that's what it is. Energy and mass constant. That's what most and everyone in square. Meaning this is an adjective to this. Because you're describing, this is your noun. This is your noun, energy. Mass and constant. So that's what it is. Noun, adjective. Square. We have to look at every single thing that's part of that equation. And we're going to convert everything into numbers. Okay, let's look at the calendar. In the month of December, okay, if you count from the very beginning, in terms of implementing the yin-yang, everyone knows what the yin-yang is. And yin. Okay, so if I count 7 days in from the top, of course that's the 7th. If I count 7 days in from the bottom, that is the 25th, right? As far as the yin-yang. Let's bring the E over here. And we know that that is the 5th letter of the alphabet. And then we have the 2. Now, 52 or 25. I'm left-handed. So the energy, it starts in my right brain. It ends with my left hand moving. So it starts with the right and it ends with the left side. 25. 25. And of course we all know the 25th is Christmas. Okay, now let's look at the adjective. And that is MC. I'll say, oh, wait a minute. Everett just told me we got to use everything. Okay, let's bring down our equal sign. M is the 13th letter of the alphabet. And then C is the 3rd. And say equals. Okay, well, we converted letters to numbers. Well, shoot. That's an equal sign. That's not really a number, is it? It's not a letter. And say objectiveness, creativity. That looks like 11. Okay, so let's turn it around. And we got to use everything. So we have 11 here. Because all we did is twist it. It's still an equal sign, but now is what does it look like? And I want to get this down. We have to have all single numbers. Okay, 3 is a single number. And say, well, 13, that's 2 digits. Everett just told me 1-digit number. 1 plus 3 is 4. Okay, got 11. 1 plus 1 is 2. Now, as I just described to you, the action of energy starts in my right brain, ends with my left side. So we are going to read, this is the symbol that I use. I use an R, and then I'll go like this and make an arrow. we're going to read in that direction, because that's consistent with my orientation. That is December 7th, on a leap year. And of course, I'm born in 1968. Now, 68 on a 10 scale, and say, well, we don't have 68 hours in a day, so let's do the 10 scale. We're saying, why 10 scale? Well, don't you have 10 fingers, 10 toes? So 6 and 4 is 10, so we put a 4, 8 and 2 is 10. 42. Then, wait a minute, 42? We don't have 42 hours. But didn't I just tell you my orientation is right to left? Let's read it this way. That's a 24, right? Don't we have 24 hours in a day? So, I just identified 342nd. This is my cincture. Bringing it down to a single digit number. Okay, now let's look at the middle number here. 1 and 3. Well, you can stop and think about 13 is the only two-digit number when added can give you all numbers of pi. 3, 1, 4. So if I put over here 31, we'll say 31. And say you add them, we'll put a plus sign in there and you say equals 4. That's pi, 3.14. 3 and 7 makes a 10, 4 and 6 makes a 10, and 2 and 8 makes a 10. We're going to read it this way. So now we have 768. If I went like this, and we'll say that's the 7th day of the 68 year. But actually, I didn't take you this far just to say reinstate my day and the year in which I'm born. No, I'm going to show you something much even bigger than that. What everyone out there should at least know with these particular numbers and this particular sequence. 768 miles per hour is the speed of sound. 342 miles an hour, I mean, that's not fast enough to be the speed of sound. Well, try another way. Be objective. Be creative. And if anything, you're not certain as to which, how, and where, and all that stuff. You know your body's set up on a 10 scale. Hey, give it a shot. 10 scale. And then we go to 768. That is my cincture. That is my cincture. If I'm the male, then we'll say the female is read this way. And we'll just put female. My sister is born May 2nd. And me, and she's the middle sister. So what links her and I together is the 3 factor. But in terms of my name, I am the 3rd. So we have that common link. So it would only make sense in terms of E equals MC², is now we're not looking at it from an energy mass constant. This is the adjective, and because this describes this, how many of them. Okay, and we know that E is the 5th letter, right? And this is square, or times 2, so let's put 2 5s down. Einstein died in 1955. Is that a coincidence? Hell no it ain't. Hell no it ain't. Hell no it ain't. That's even implemented. That's another variable. That is a variable. And I have 2 more sisters. And I have 1 more brother. Let's put another variable in there, and as my mother. Because someone is smart, I should be able to look into the future. I should be able to look into the past and also understand the present. Okay, we got E, we got M, and we got C, and we got square. E is our 5th letter. Equals, because everything counts in this. We converted this. Why can't we convert this? 11. M, that is the 13. C is the 3rd letter of the alphabet. Okay, we're going to leave this off because this just tells us how many of these do we have, or square. Okay, in terms of the human body, the body is set up in 2. We got a left and a right. In terms of eyes, so we got a lot of 2-factor going on in the human body. So let's look at these numbers and sector them up in increments of 2. 5 plus 1 is 6. 1 plus 1 is 2. And of course 3 plus 3 is 6. Now if we're going to look at this as someone's birthday, well, we can't say there's 62 months because there's no such thing as 62 or even 26 months. Everyone has a different way of presenting the date. Okay, so let's put our first slash there. Do we have 6 months? Yes, that is June the 26th. My mother's birthday is June 26th. Okay, now let's take this one step further. How is my dad in here? The numbers presented here, without repeating, essentially that made up this birthday is a 6 and a 2. Okay, if my mom is the female and 2 6s repeated, what would be the opposite of this if in reference to my dad, or the yin-yang, male-female? That means we would only have 1 6 and then we'd have 2 2s, right? If we did a yin-yang on this. We're going to put 1 6 because we had 2 here, so let's just put 1. That's kind of a reverse in reference to looking at numbers. Okay, we only had 1 2, so let's put 2 of them down. Implementing the yin-yang. My dad is born June 22nd. And I just put more variables in identifying this is my signature. Only I would have known this. Did I mention to tell you in terms of the Mayans, and the historical date was 12/21/2012. In terms of the Mayans and the Chichen Itza, this is even incorporated into E equals MC², which also ties me to the Chichen Itza, also ties me to the Mayans. Common sense and logic would say, hey, someone had to teach them this information. But it also links into the pyramids. Only I can tell you my cincture on Chichen Itza and the cinctures in Egypt, and I can explain to you things that man still doesn't know even today. What are other ways that I can observe this? Okay, so we got a 5, and then we got an equals, and then we got a 13, and then we got a 3. Now, in terms of, we're going to put it into a 1-2 factor. How many digits do we have here? That would only be a 1. Equals, that's 11. Well, that consists of 2 digits. 2. Right? 13 is also a 2-digit number. Put the 2 up there. And then, of course, 3. 3 is a single digit. 12, 21. Of course, square, if you was to put the little 2 there, in reference to the Mayans and Chichen Itza. Okay, now let's look at these two numbers in a yin-yang. If we read this number this way, and then we read this number that way, you would have 12, 12. My older sister is December 12th. And the more variables I put in here, it's going to make it so specific, it'll put it as 1 out of a centrillion of people ever born could ever match this. It runs on the lines of all the planets lining up in one linear path in its cycle. Okay, and like I was saying, in terms of viewing things, okay, since this is a 2-digit number, so let's keep this last number here and just add these up. 7. 5 plus 1 is 7. Bring the 13. My youngest sister is July the 13th. Five. Now let's put the equal sign back as the equal sign. 13. And if I told you my brother's date of birth are all single digits, you say, hey, wait a minute, there's a 5, so he's... Okay, well, it depends on which way you're reading it, right? I told you we read it in this direction of me. Isn't he a brother? So let's read it in terms of male, gender. It was, and I just said all single digits? Absolutely. So 1 plus 3 is 4. So we're going to read that way. April the 5th. That's how we get my brothers. We have E equals MC². Okay, so if I'm here in this life on this text, I mean, as an Einstein, in terms of mathematics, in terms of energy, being a scientist, a facts, okay, let's conveniently swap these two. The yin and yang, that means the beginning and the end. Let's turn these two around. Now let's rewrite it. C equals me and 2. See me. Well, when you say the letter C, it also sounds like the word see. Like see me square, or 2 times right? So I was Einstein, and here I am on the same context. So me as on the text of mathematics and energy and second generation master, are there other roles in which energy has me in? Absolutely. So when I just simply swap these two letters here, E and C, and just say it, see me twice. And that is a strong reference to reincarnation. So as an Einstein role, you are only going to see me twice in your lifetime as Einstein. What I just showed here in terms of variables, without showing you any more, it just put me in the category of 1 out of centrillion of individuals that could be born. That's astronomical. That's like 1 followed by 300 zeros. I did tell everyone creativity and being objective. What else can this symbol be? What else can this be associated with? What else can I describe and show you in detail that my cincture is linked to it? Chichen Itza, Egypt. There's many things. Down the road, and I get reincarnated and I say, hey, I'm the Albert Einstein, in reference to E equals MC². Can you imagine what else I'm fixing to open up and pull out of that Pandora box of greatness? It'll push you so far you'll crap yourself. Because you not being the real Einstein would not be able to open it up. In terms of energy, we are dealing with energy that we see and energy we don't see. So we don't see the wind out there, but we know it exists because we see the things in which it affects. So this is E equals MC². What part of this equation that is missing? And only the real Einstein would know this. And of course that would be me. That's why this has baffled many people. They just saw is energy equals mass constant. But as I taught, being objective and creative, as small as this symbol is, it is very mighty and powerful, and it's my cincture. But we can open this up in certain ways, only known by me. I'm just showing you with your own eyes facts. Not to be conceited or narcissistic, but yeah, if you want to know facts, I am that good. It's inscripted in E equals MC². Right here. My orientation, right to left. 3/42. And as like Picasso or any other artist, we are going to have our cincture. So to remove any doubt in your mind that Everett Pierce truly has to be the Albert Einstein